book of the tale of Red-Handed John. Red-Handed John, he was called to his friends, for he had the stealth of a fox. He'd sneak out at night, or even by day, it mattered not, he could pick any lock. What made him so great at his shady profession was to him he'd a handy gift given. His right claw was fine, by lobster standards, but the left was as thin as a pin. With his great set of tools, nothing could stand in the way of this odd little creature. Though he was twisted, he was quite ambitious, he could say it was his only good feature. His family and friends had patience, you say, that stretched for miles upon end. They had to, you see, for if he got caught to the pot, they knew he'd be sent. They tolerated John, for it was the one thing he could do with his state of his claw, as long as he knew not to take something big, but it wasn't enough for this craw. Eventually, cunning and wit will not work, for in the end, thieves always get caught. This is the tale of how Lobster John finally got thrown in the pot. Red-Handed John was quite malcontent, sticking to snatching small things. Baubles were nice, but a challenge he craved. He wanted a feat fit for kings. He knew of the traps that we big folk lay to catch his kind and his kin. Imagine the stories they tell of Red John if he was caught, but wasn't brought in. He'd act the right way, ambling along, entering the cage trap he chose. Imagine the surprise of those silly land folk when he escaped from under their nose. He boasted and bragged, told all he could of the daring deed he planned to do. He wanted an audience to prove all he said so everyone would know it was true. No longer he'd be just Red-Handed John with left claw much smaller than right. He'd earn their respect when he escaped from the cage, tales of his courage and brilliance they'd write. The day finally came, for daylight it was, where it was seen through many eyes. Blinded by greed, and to prove he was best, his great ambition became his demise. It all went to plan, in the trap he did go, it closed up and everyone gasped. "Fear not," said Red-Handed John from within, "it's nothing, this lock's well in my grasp." What he didn't know was, though he was skilled, he was unprepared when things went awry. As he unlatched the door to his trap, he was jolted up to the sky. The cage door slammed shut, and John flung about as he was reeled onto the deck. He realized he'd lost, to the pot he would go, he sighed as he made his last trek. And that is the tale of how Red-Handed John was trumped by events of which he thought not. So you may have ambition, take heed of the story, or you may just end up in the pot.
Hey!